Hell yeah, we got the Street Bob. Heavy as fuck bike. It's a really interesting bike though. It feels like I'm driving a car on two wheels. Which you probably are thinking, wait a second. A motorcycle is a car on two wheels, and no. A motorcycle, when properly engineered, is a fucking bicycle that can go warp speed. A car on two wheels weighs 2,000 pounds, steers like shit, but it's comfortable. It's not so much comfortable. Like, I do not like this seating position, but then at the same time, this is a much older style of riding. This is not at all sporty or agile. It's just meant to cruise, as the name suggests, for these class of motorcycles. They are cruisers. They are not meant to do crazy shit that I do in the normal day-to-day. So you do have to change the way you ride. You have to change the way you think when it comes to approaching traffic, how you want to get around it. You can't exactly dive around cars and such, and don't get me wrong, you probably can if you've got the fucking nerves and the balls to, but very likely you do not want to be doing that. Just for your own safety. These bikes are not cheap. They do not like being spanked, unlike Japanese sport bikes or equivalents. You know, these things are, again, they're not cheap. They are meant to be ridden a certain way, and like a sport bike, they are not. But yeah, that's about it. I'm just gonna keep recording in case some motherfucker smacks me. I don't want to be buying this bike for my brother. I have no desire of owning this kind of Harley. It's a bit excessive. I think the Sportster 883 is perfectly fine for my needs, for my wants, my desires. But the more I think about it, the less I want that bike. There are much better alternatives out there that look exactly the same, probably do a little bit better, perform a little bit better. But one interesting thing about this bike is, it just makes you want to drive like a car. You see me kind of diving around cars and such, and I feel really uncomfortable doing it with this kind of bike. For starters, the bike is fucking wide. It's got this crash bars on it, and even without the crash bars, you got the ape hangers that are just fucking wide and tall. So I gotta be extra mindful. But it's sweet. A lot of fun. It's just a different way of riding. It's just, you can't ride like a sport bike. It doesn't like to, it's got the stopping power, but it just doesn't like it. It feels like you're stopping a fucking car. Like, you just feel all this weight just kind of shifting forward, as opposed to, the quick, short dive to bottom out your suspension on a sport bike when you know, like, oh shit, I'm here at the limits. Just a different style of riding. And this guy is freaking me the fuck out. I know one of these days, these motherfuckers are gonna be the death of me, these tow trucks. They drive like assholes. They're one of the worst commercial drivers on the road. Even if they can be considered commercial drivers, I don't even know what kind of certifications you need to be a tow truck driver. Like, right now I'm probably doing like 10 miles per hour slower than what I usually do, but at the same time, there is no need for me to be like, yeah, let's go a little bit faster, It's because this bike just doesn't like being ridden that way. It doesn't like being super jerked or anything. It rewards smooth riding, just smooth kind of collective reserve. Sure, you can ride fast, but not in the same kind of jerky manner that you would a sport bike, where you're just like whacking the throttle open. You got to kind of roll into it, and I'm sure it's better for the crankshaft, being so, I don't want to say tiny, but there's just insane amount of torque being applied onto the crankshaft, and a whack the throttle would just cause it to warp even faster than normal. I don't know if warp is the right word, but when an engine gets old, the camshaft lobes, I don't know what you would call them, piston arms, piston ring, not piston rings, but the piston arms, I think, they get like stretched out. Think of like those people that put those earrings that stretch out the ears. Kind of like that. Over time, it just gets looser and looser and looser to the point where like it can't even hold on to the pistons anymore. The piston arms are the rod. I fucking forgot the engine terminal.